have that I can't get answers with in my current one. And what you started to see were companies that were coming up with very specific answers to questions. So I'll give you an example. We would get a call from a housing development or a localized municipality that would say, we need to do trash collection. And we'd say, okay, well, we can put this on trash trucks. And they said, no. We need to know that every trash receptacle has been picked up. And we said, well, we have geofencing. We can tell you when we're in the area. And they said, nope, that's not good enough. I need you to have equipment on there that links into the trash receptacles and indicates when it's been picked up and emptied and recorded, loaded in with your software so that I can play that back to folks. Now remember, at Fleetmatics/Verizon, we're a SaaS company. Our goal was to get our bill of materials as low as humanly possible because we were looking for SaaS-based results. So any solution that required me to have more customized, expensive hardware was a non-starter. And we would simply say no, right? And those would go to localized players. Another example, we had guys that say, hey, we need snowplow. Okay, we can do snowplow, but the problem with the snowplow was they wanted us to record each and every street that the vehicle went up and down, and then record all that and then tell us which streets we hadn't yet covered and how to confirm that all of those streets were covered by a certain amount of time. And we simply didn't have that kind of customized software solution built into our scenario. So what happens is, as your markets get more developed, people build more and more customized solutions to really speak to the micro niches of the market and to truly deliver on the business problem, not just the generalized tracking a vehicle problem. So those are just two examples of custom solutions. The other big thing that came out was video, right? Video has been nowhere in telematics. For years in the U.S., I never once saw video as a request, and I'm telling you, I did.
Stuart, I think the line is breaking up a little bit. Stuart, we're struggling to hear you. The line is breaking up a bit.
I never got video as a request. And then you've got Tesco in the UK.
Hey, Stuart, we're struggling to hear you. You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Hi guys, is that better?
Hey Stuart. Yeah, now we can hear you again.
I hung up and dialed in because you said you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, correct. You were breaking up, so we could understand like half of what you were saying.
Is this better?
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so I won't bore you with it, but suffice it to say that people created customized solutions to solve the customer's end business problem more than just solving a generic application or vehicle tracking problem. Okay, the other big shift was video. Video is nowhere in the States, and it has been pretty much nowhere in the States. However, in the UK, you started to see companies like Tesco that were getting a lot of accidents, and the accidents were insurance scams. And for Tesco and other big companies that had their names wrapped around them where people knew there were big money behind them, they started putting cameras in the front of their vehicle. And that way, when somebody stopped short, they could recreate the problem. Now people have realized that, and they say, well, gosh, if you want to do an insurance scam on Tesco, you can't just stop in front of them. You have to sideswipe them. So what is Tesco doing? They're now putting in 360-degree cameras all around their vehicles to be able to recreate an accident from any direction. And all of a sudden, 18 months later, that's coming to the U.S. That's what I talk about when I say UK is an interesting frontline predictor of trends in this market.
And that's basically because they're more customer focused. Their solutions are playing to customer needs, and then the video solutions, those type of things. Okay, got it.
Yes, and because the customers are more evolved, and because they're more evolved, they fully expect you to do things above and beyond just tracking a vehicle. And that's where I keep saying, when you look at telematics through the lens of the customer's use case and what the customer is trying to solve for, it makes far more sense who's winning and who's losing. It's why lots of telematics companies do great, like Fleetmatics, right? Verizon, we did great in local fleet service. We did lousy in long-haul shipping because we didn't make investments in long-haul shipping. To do that, you needed to be Trimble, you needed to be PeopleNet, right? You needed to be Omnitrax, right? But because they were investing to solve different parts of the problem space than we were. And so you really need to understand what they're solving for to then say, okay, what investments are they making right now, and is that going to give them more or less market share going forward? Is that going to unlock increasing layers of customers that say, now you've solved enough of my problem that I'm willing to commit and buy into telematics?
And from what you know, the TomTom telematics business, is that innovative? Are they kind of coming with customer-centric solutions and thereby kind of tying in their customer base, or would you say that they are a little bit behind?
Unfortunately, it's a little of both, right? On one hand, because of their relationships with the third parties and the personal nav, right? They have a whole OEM store where people can connect to them with all kinds of different technology, and that's interesting. Because those connections with underlying back office systems are incredibly vital. The bad thing is I don't know that they're spending their time trying to solve for what to do with that information that is useful. Let me give you an example. Right? At Virgin Media, right, one of their challenges was their techs would leave in the morning and they would give them 10 work orders to do, and they would come home at the end of the day and only have 8 of the work orders done. And that was a huge problem for the operations folks because it meant they had pissed off customers, right? And they tended to have to go buy from third parties the excess capacity they needed to cover off the rest of those work orders. The problem was, even though all the plans made perfect sense, they couldn't figure out why their people couldn't execute on them. And the challenge on that is not just knowing where your guys are at, it's knowing where are your trucks relative to where they're supposed to be. How long is it taking them to do a job? How long are they telling you it takes to do a job? How long did you plan to do a job? And how long was the truck actually at the job? Because the truck is the only one that doesn't have a reason to lie. And when you can triangulate that and then start to aggregate it across a whole work order type, you can start to figure out things like, it's taking me 55 minutes to do a trouble ticket if somebody's cable is out, but I'm only giving my guys 40 minutes. I'm not scheduling the right way. I need to give them more time, and by giving them more time, they're going to be more accurate. I'm going to be able to figure this out, and I'm going to have less secondary truck rolls to go out there to fix somebody whose problems have come up with their cable. And examples like that where you're really solving the core business problem, that requires you to think fundamentally differently about what information am I taking in, what am I going to do with it, what actions am I going to take. I just don't know that I see TomTom playing at that intellectual operational level yet. That's the kind of stuff that when I do due diligence for folks, that's where I tend to dive in. because I want to understand how well the management is at executing on the type of problems that are going to continue to unlock successive